What's up, everyone? I'm Coach D with the MeidasTouch Network. Hey, if you haven't yet, go on over to the YouTube page and subscribe at Coach D Spoke. So the MAGA meltdown about the Donald Trump verdict continues. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson went on Fox News recently to talk about what's next for Republicans in their quest to weaponize the DOJ to exact revenge against Donald Trump's political opponents. Does that sound familiar? It should sound very familiar because, as we've said before, every Republican accusation is a projection or a confession. And wait until you hear what one Republican legal expert is proposing Republican lawmakers and prosecutors start doing.
Now, I want to ask you about the verdict. Clearly, you think it's a travesty, as many people do. And I think, having watched the trial, there are many grounds, fertile territory for the Trump team to use on appeal, but that's going to take time. In the meantime, there are a number of Republicans out there saying, you guys need to turn around and do this same thing. John, you writing this, Republicans have to bring charges against Democratic officers, even presidents. Only retaliation in kind can produce the deterrence necessary to enforce a political version of mutual assured destruction.
So she says, I see many grounds that the Trump team can use on appeal. And you know, if the Law and Order Party really believed in the rule of law, they would exhaust all the appeals afforded them in the judicial process. But no, because they don't really believe in the rule of law, their solution is to drum up bogus charges to try and get back at Democrats. And honestly, I welcome them doing this and having Democrat members of the House mock and make fools of them, just as they did during the failed attempt to impeach Joe Biden. And keep in mind, when they attempt this, all of their smoking gun evidence will turn out to be smoke and mirrors, just as it was in the impeachment attempt. Remember the checks Marjorie Taylor Greene said were proof of high crimes and misdemeanors? They all turned out to be nothing.
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to give you the news. If you haven't seen it already, we now have direct evidence that Joe Biden took payments, direct payments from his brother, Jim Biden, in a complete money laundering scheme. And this links him to foreign investments. Democrats have been giving us hell. The media has not believed our stories. On oversight, we have been investigating Joe Biden directly and his corruption through his family businesses because Joe Biden is the brand. Well, now we have a check for $200,000 that came through a company that his brother had invested in, and they were cycling money through from foreign investments. This is the most explosive news. This news needs to be spread everywhere. Make sure you tell everyone you know. Share this video. Share this post. Joe Biden has been busted, and we just got the goods. We have the receipt.
We have the goods. Joe Biden has been busted. That was in October 2023. It was such a weak piece of evidence that it wasn't enough to bring a vote to impeach to the House floor. Do you know how easy it is for a majority party to call for an impeachment vote? But back to Mike Johnson and John Yoo, because he isn't even being subtle or sneaky. He's saying it out loud. We need to make up charges and retaliate. And again, this is the Law and Order Party.
The other side, Peggy Noonan, writing about how high the temperature is, says this: we have to ease up. We have to stop enjoying our hate so much. We can't go on indefinitely like this. Are you worried that Republicans will be perceived as doing the very thing you're accusing Democrats of using the legal system for political purposes, if you follow John Yoo's advice?
Here's what I believe, Shannon. Listen, we are the rule of law party. Chaos is not a conservative value, and we have to fight back, and we will.
So he says, we are the rule of law party, and then proceeds to say, we have to fight back, and we will. Fight back against what? Donald Trump had a lawyer. He was afforded a Sixth Amendment right to a speedy trial. The charges were read. Witnesses were called. Donald Trump was afforded his Fifth Amendment right to testify. He declined. During the years-long lead up to the trial, he promised to testify and prove that Stormy Daniels and D.A. Bragg were in contempt. Then he chose to only speak publicly where there were no consequences for his lying. So again, I ask, what are you fighting back against? This was a fair trial by every definition.
But we do that within the confines of the rule of law. We believe in our institutions. We are conservatives, and we are trying to conserve the greatest country in the history of the world, and its institutions are an important part of that. Our system of justice is an important part of that. So what we'll do with our tools that we have in Congress, in the House, is we'll use our oversight responsibility. We've already done that. You saw our Judiciary Chairman, Jim Jordan, issue requests for Alvin Bragg, the DA in Manhattan, and for the lead prosecutor, Colangelo, to show up for a hearing on June 13th in our Select Committee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government, because that's what they've done.
Weaponization of the federal government. Explain exactly how. Were those not real charges? Have other people not been indicted and convicted for those same crimes? Let me help. Yes, they have. In fact, the lead witness, Michael Cohen, was convicted for it while Trump was a free man in the White House. June 13th should be fun. I imagine DA Bragg will ask them, why didn't Donald Trump choose to defend himself under oath?
And the purpose of the hearing is to investigate what these prosecutors are doing at the state and federal level to go to use politics, political retribution in the court system to go after political opponents of federal officials like Donald Trump. That's a really important thing for us to delve into. And we're going to look at Special Counsel Jack Smith, who we believe is abusing his authority as well. We have the funding streams. We have mechanisms to try to get control of that. We'll be doing that within the confines of our jurisdiction. And I think that can have the desired effect and show the American people we're not going to tolerate this. Shannon, at the end of the day, people are losing their faith in our system of justice itself, and that's a serious threat.
People are losing faith in the system of justice because they are continually being lied to by Republicans. He said they're going to investigate what these prosecutors are doing and how they're using politics to go after political opponents. And I love the Republicans' newfound belief in the corruption in the judicial system. They also like to say that Donald Trump resonates with black people because they understand what he's going through with a corrupt justice system. But here's my question. When black and brown people were complaining about the judicial system, what were Donald Trump and other Republicans doing to address these issues in the black community? Not a goddamn thing. But now they want to weaponize our struggles for political expedience. The hell with them for that. And isn't weaponizing the government exactly what your 2-year-long sham impeachment inquiry was about? You lost your attempt to weaponize the House against Joe Biden, and now you're projecting at Democrats because the state of New York won a legitimate case against Donald Trump. And he proves it by making another vague statement about Jack Smith abusing his authority. Basically, as long as they have a slim majority, any attempt to hold Donald Trump accountable for his career criminality, they're going to try to stop. So here's what we're going to have. We're going to have another stretch of months where the Republican House will do absolutely nothing. They'll get nothing done. Their entire goal is to make government look dysfunctional while Joe Biden is in office. The only way for us to stop this is for us to vote them all out in November. Period.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.